it's Rachel here. Today I am with Mary Alice from Alice Alexander. She is a really awesome designer here in Philadelphia, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what she does.
Hi, so my name's Mary Alice Dove. I'm owner of Alice Alexander. We are a size-inclusive, ethically and sustainably made women's apparel company here in Philadelphia. And we are completely vertically integrated, so we design, pattern, cut, sew, and retail all out of one space right here in East Falls. We have a website, alicealexander.co, and you can visit us at 4056 Ridge Avenue in Philadelphia.
Awesome, thanks Mary Alice. So I have been obsessed lately with how fear shows up in entrepreneurship and for different entrepreneurs. So can you tell me for you how fear comes up kind of in your daily activities and how you deal with it?
So I think that for a lot of entrepreneurs, there's fear around taking a risk, making a move, and for me especially, there's fear around launching the new collection. Will people like it? Are they going to buy it? Are people going to laugh at me? There's fear around the financial aspects of owning your own business. I mean, it's constant money in, money out, money in, money out. And every time you're spending money, you're like, oh my goodness, is this going to come back? Because we need the money to run payroll, to buy more materials, to invest in marketing. So fear is really normal. The biggest thing though is don't let it paralyze you. Feel it, recognize it, ask yourself what's coming up around this fear. Is it rational or is it, my anxiety talking? And then you've got to power through. Because if you let it paralyze you, you're just not going to be able to make forward progress in your business.
Yeah, and I love that you just said, actually recognize it.
Oh, you have to.
Sit with it.
Yes, that's fine.
I think that's the hardest thing for people to do, especially entrepreneurs. You want to just keep moving. And it can paralyze you.
Yes.
And it can prevent you from doing the things that have to get done. And you don't have time for that when you're an entrepreneur.
That's right.
So really, sometimes it's better, or always it's better to stop, sit, be in it, listen to it, let it happen, and then be able to move on. Because I have found in my experience, if you just try and rush through that fear, then it's just going to come and bite you in the butt later on. Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I'll also say that, especially as women, I think we have a really strong innate sense of intuition. And if something is coming up for you around fear, it is important to stop and recognize it. Sometimes it's completely unfounded, and that's when you take that pause and you really take a look at it, you'll realize. But sometimes it's legit. Sometimes it's maybe entering into a new partnership and you just have that feeling in your tummy and you're not able to identify, wait, is this just fear? Is this me not wanting to take a chance? Or is this legitimate and that I shouldn't do business with this person? So I would definitely say the pause is super important. Sometimes that pause is a couple hours. Sometimes it's a couple days. That's okay. Just don't let it paralyze you into indecision where weeks go by and you still haven't made a move on that particular issue. Yeah, absolutely. And I think checking in with your gut and having that time is super important. But also looking at sometimes the numbers of the thing. I find that that's another block for people. It's oh, is this a good, how you're talking about before, the financial part. Am I putting it out? Is it going to come back? And a lot of times you don't know that, especially when you're a new business. But there are definitely ways that you can kind of play with the numbers and say, okay, if I do this, then this could possibly happen. Or if I do this, then this could possibly happen. And what are kind of those different scenarios, how might they play out? What can I afford to lose if it doesn't go well? Because sometimes you still have to take those risks, not knowing and not having any numbers. I think especially when you're new as far as marketing goes, you don't know, right? It's hard to tell. What are you working on as far as marketing goes? So a lot of the marketing right now we're doing is organic. We have spent a little money on Facebook ads and Google ads, but the reality is, a business our size, we're competing against companies who have literal ad budgets of several $1,000s a month. In the upwards of $20,000, $30,000, and that's very real. They're playing with these huge numbers, and the reality is, it's a small business with 3 employees. We just can't afford to throw money down the Facebook and Google ad rabbit hole. So we do some very specific targeted ads on Facebook to people who have come to our site before, to people who are friends with people who like our page, very, very, very specific. And then other than that, our biggest push is getting people on our email list who actually want the product we're selling. And I tell people this all the time, don't spend a whole lot of time getting everybody on your email list, because that's not helpful. You want people who are coming to your website looking for your product, sign up for your email list so that you have their email address and you can then offer the product to them.
above and beyond all other marketing efforts, your email list is the most important thing, and you want it to be full of actual people who want your product, not just like your mom and your aunt and your grandma. Like that, those numbers might make you feel good, but the reality is like, my mom can't afford my clothes. Sorry, Mom, we've talked about this. But you want people on your email list who are going to buy from you. So absolutely. Really pushing people to the website who want to purchase our clothes, but maybe they can't purchase them today, or maybe they don't see something they want today, but getting them on that email list. And then not spamming them and not being annoying, like consistently delivering both the goods, which they originally came to your site for, but also really great content. So like we'll send them podcasts, we'll send them an article, we'll send them just uplifting information. We really want to make sure we're sending both content that's valuable as well as here's what we have in the store today.
Yeah, absolutely. Your email list is super important, and I just want to tie that back into kind of how fear presents itself. Because right, if you have that really strong list and you know your customers and you know who you're targeting, it can kind of make reaching out less scary because it can just be really authentic, and you can just be true to your brand and who you are. And I think that can take the fear away.
Absolutely. And I've heard people say, oh, well, I don't like emailing my list because every time I do, someone unsubscribes. Well, yeah, that's going to happen. But like the reality is, if they unsubscribe, they're not part of your tribe.
Right, they're not your people.
And that's okay. They're not your people, and that's okay. And so the way I look at it is every day I get a couple email subscribers, and every time I send out an email, I get a couple unsubscribers. So like, what's my net? You know, how many did I gain? How many did I lose? Like, is it 2 steps forward, 1 step back? That's okay. It doesn't, if you have an email list and you're using it, the data's all there that email marketing is the #1 way to drive sales. So don't be afraid of it. And like you said, when you're building that group of people who actually like you and like what you're selling and like your mission and your vision, you know, it feels really easy to send those emails because you're communicating with someone who wants to hear from you.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love Mary Alice's communication and her content. And I think you're just so super authentic, and I love that. How do you kind of come up with all that content? Do you feel like it's a challenge to you, or what blocks do you have around that?
So I'll say that for me, it's not very challenging in that I have a very specific point of view. I started the company for very specific reasons. I was a social worker for 10 years. I was fed up with my clothes. I couldn't find clothes that fit me. I wear a size 16, 18. So it very much comes from, it's very mission oriented for me. And I think even if I didn't have a business, it would still be that thing that I didn't shut the hell up about. So, for me, it kind of comes naturally, but then there's definitely days where I'm just like not feeling it. Like I just want to lay in bed or and binge on Netflix. And on those days, like I think it's okay to not post, not send an email. Like I would say you kind of feel it because your customer and your audience can kind of tell when you're phoning it in. And it's okay to take a little pause and say, you know what, I'm not going to post today. Like, the world will not end. It is okay. Don't not post for like 6 weeks because consistency is key. And also, you can be real with your audience and be like, I'm having a rough day. Like everything that's happened has been happening in our country, especially for the past 2 years, which feels like an eternity. It can feel like a lot. It can feel heavy, and it's okay to talk to your audience about that. And I think most importantly, keep it a 2-way conversation. Don't make it just like a one-way
street. Yeah.
It's
not all about you.
It's not all about you. Invite conversation. Yeah. So like I get tons of DMs, and it is just my favorite thing because it's just an opportunity to really get to know my community and my customers and talk back and forth, and it's just like, it's really nice.
Yeah, and that's what this is all about, right? Is building your community and talking about what you feel passionate about. And I think if you're really clear on your why, then it makes all of this stuff a lot easier to do. Like you want to establish that communication. Right. You know, you want to have those relationships. Right. That's what's important at the end of the day.
Yeah, for sure.
And it makes it a lot less scary when you have that community to fall back on.
Yeah.
And when you can be authentic and share things that you're struggling with, because most likely someone else is struggling with the same thing and they want to talk about it. And I think social media has that cool way of connecting us.
Yeah,
so
for sure.
That's really cool. Cool. Well, we're going to wrap up here for today, guys. Thanks so much, Mary Alice.
Thanks,
we'll
Rachel.
talk to you soon. Have a great day.
Bye.